Welcome back to Mid-Ohio, and there is a good look at the field for our final national championship to be decided, Formula Atlantic. That car right there, he's going to be carrying the onboard for us, young Paul Lecane. Here's the rest of the field as we do the walk-by here of this great group of cars. If you watch the cool Toyota Atlantic Championship down to some of those races, you recognize those Ralts. Now we got some Swift. There's Kevin Furline. Remember, we met him earlier in that ancient Ralt RT4. The rest of the pack making their way out on track for our 19-lap final national championship to be decided. There we are, Paul Lecane. He is a very talented young driver, and he has had a couple of tough breaks over the years coming up here, but he won in the Northeastern Division this year with 5 wins, and he had 9, counting last year, 9 national wins in a row. So he is absolutely ready to go. Problem is, he's got one guy in front of him, and it's a very quick driver in the form of B.J. Zacharias. Very talented driver. He was the Formula Continental National Championship winner last year. Let's take a look at the Toyota starting grid. There's B.J. up front. He was almost 2.5 seconds a lap quicker than anybody else in qualifying. Weather may have played a little role there. Paul Lecane, second. He'll be our camera car. Mark Rodriguez, Jason Greggs, and John Villamy. That's your top 5. But Kevin Furline, watch him from 6 in that old Ralt. He is easily the most exciting driver out there, throwing that car around. Here's the rest of the field, and this should be a good one. And even though we've got that huge margin, keep in mind that some of the cars, they said once in practice that they were able to run, particularly the number 90 car of Lecane was able to run within a half second of the lead car of B.J. Zacharias. So there is hope that they're going to be able to get right in there and give him a bit of a race.
Well, this class is the highest technology class that there is in all of the sports car racing. And what that basically means is that if you have a 1-year-old car, you can have basically a brick compared to what we have here. There's all the guys on the starter stand there testing the integrity of the engineering of that piece. I can tell you that. Speaking of engineering, that car on the pole up there, B.J. Zacharias, that's RT41 Ralt, state-of-the-art stuff. He is going to be a very fast guy. We're looking at the 5 car. That's Brian Westerlund.
Brian Westerlund comes out of British Columbia, Canada. The Blue Star Motors entry. We're going to take a little bit more of an in-depth look at Brian.
Well, long tow honors at the SCCA runoffs have to go to Brian Westerlund, who has come all the way from Vancouver, BC, Canada. How long did it take you to get here?
Took us 48 long hours.
How'd you occupy the time?
Well, we bought a TV and a VCR and watched some movies as we drove along, mounted it on the dashboard, made it a little bit more enjoyable for sure.
You made it here safely, though. Now, I've got to ask you, you've got the blonde hair, the open-wheel driver from Canada. Any of that modeled after Jacques?
Not too much. No, I went with black about a month and a half ago, and all the women hated it. Everybody thought I looked a little too evil, so I went to white, a little bit more calmer. And the women seemed like a little bit more, so I'm laughing.
All right, so that's what's behind it. Now, I've got to ask you about this. What is that? Loser inside the cockpit of a race car driver. What's up with that?
We pretty much put that on there because we knew I'd look like a loser in this interview, so we went with it.
Well, we think you're doing just fine, and we're glad to have you here, man. Good luck.
Cheers.
Well, they're having a good time with their program, obviously. And I suppose after a 48-hour drive to get here, you're going to feel a little dingy for a while.
That guy, I tell you, the crew guys sometimes, they're your best friend for sure, but they can be your worst enemy sometimes,
Oh,
too.
man, yeah, when they know you're going on camera, it can sometimes be not too pretty. Interesting look at that one car. You may have saw it there. That is an older Ralt that guy has done some engineering on. There's a good look at Brian, by the way. But he had devised a rear body cover for the car, and in qualifying, it ignited. We'll show you that car a little later on. It ignited, and he didn't have a backup for it. And he's got an unusual roll cage on the car on top of it, so he's going to be running with a very unique look here as we get back and underway with it. David?
That red 9 car we just saw, Dan Carmichael. Dan Carmichael is a cool 79.
79 years old. He is a former national champion.
He's in the middle of the grid.
And he just can't get out of these cars. He absolutely loves them. A former fighter pilot. The guy obviously knows how to deal with high speeds and everything. But at 79, there he is, number 9 right there, 79 years old. Just a couple of months shy of an 80th birthday. And he is just flat quick. Former champ. Oh, we're getting a wave off, it looks like. Starter did not like the look of the field. So they're going to have to go around one more time. And it looked like some of them in the mid-pack, Dorsey, they were starting to go a little bit, jockey around, and you can't make any kind of move until you see the green.
Well, I personally think it's all that distraction up there in the booth with the guy. It was the last race of the entire weekend. All of them gone green. He had to use his power of the weekend. He said, no, you're not starting.
You think that?
No.
What do you think?
I think he's probably right.
Okay.
He just had to not let him go, you know.
Exactly. I mean, it's a miracle we haven't had any other more non-start.
Well, we have been very fortunate in everything going green throughout the weekend. So there we are on board with Paul Lecane, and he's looking at the back of BJ's Ralt chassis. And that, of course, the car, if you watch the Atlantics, that Tony Ave did a couple of seasons in the Pro Series with Uwe Olsen's team. So it's a very well-sorted car, well-sorted program. And that's one of the reasons that everybody's chasing him rather thoroughly right now. And Paul, the one who's been able to do that best so far. Rusty Schrader, you, of course, spent a lot of seasons racing these cars. Started in what was called Formula B, and then they became Atlantic. And you've been behind the wheel of these cars. Talk about driving one of these things.
Well, these cars are really, really great fun to drive. In fact, we were talking about Dan Carmichael before. I ran against Dan from 73 on. My last time in one of these cars was 82. These make tremendous downforce. They're full aerodynamic downforce cars. They have very big tires, you can see right there. They do not have a lot of horsepower. 1,600cc motors put out about 250 horsepower. Corner speeds are faster than any other car here, and these are the very fastest race car tracks on the racetrack.
Absolutely. And Uwe Olsen, who cruised the BJ Zacharias car, standing by Bobby Gerald.
Yes, he is. He's anticipating this start here. And, I mean, what's your biggest worry right now before a green flag?
Make it to turn 9.
Making it to turn 9. Well, at least you're ahead of everyone to start with, huh?
But still, they hit you from behind. That's the biggest problem you have.
So you just got to hammer down into turn 1 real hard.
Oh, no, they start in the back, so it's 8, and 9. If you make it to 9, I think we'll be okay.
All right. Uwe Olsen says that's going to be the key for BJ. Once he gets out there, it should just be like a rabbit.
All right, well, we'll watch and see what happens. Here we are on board now, looking backward from Paul Lecane's car, and we are coming up to the start flag here. We hope this time. Now, this lap that they ran does count, so when we go green, assuming it's this time, we'll have 18 laps to go. These are the fastest cars out there. These laps go quick. Green. We are green and underway with our last national championship race of the day. Oh, look at that move down to the inside. Cars fanning around a little bit, and look at that move, and a trip not there. And that was the number 12 car of Rodriguez, and it just didn't quite pay, but hey, you got to try.
Cold tires,
did work too, right down the inside, 3 abreast there going into turn 6. This is what Uwe meant when he says they can get to turn 9. Well, that's 8. This is 9 coming up.
Car off at the top of the hill. We had one problem with the very last car, somebody up there.
Now we're looking backward from Lecane. That's number 81, the John C. car of John Villamy. He's qualified 5th. And, oh boy, he looks like he's pulling it over and stopping it. And also I noticed that Kevin Furline, who was 6th, is 4th right now. See? That red car, 4th in the order. So a great start there. And that car, that car did make the move around Paul Lecane. That is the Mazda-powered, the first Mazda-powered Ralt chassis ever. And they've done a little work on that car as well. And in a straight line, that car is a missile. And there's BJ. There goes Rodriguez. There's Lecane and the camera car working through turn 1.
And look at the sun in turn 1. Right now, you go underneath that bridge, and you go right smack into the sun. Can't see a darn thing.
Go into the sun 2 or 3 times. Another one right here as you come into this final crucial turn before the straight. Look at it, glinting up the racetrack there, glinting up there. Make sure their visors are all absolutely spotless and scratchless. Down that long straightaway. Cars, what, 160 mile an hour down here, Dorsey, these are the cars?
Yeah, I would think upper 150s or so. These cars do make a lot of downforce. They also make a lot of drag because of that.
Terrific
BJ, a little
grip.
twitchy there after braking a little.
Yeah, terrific grip when they put the brakes on with these cars too. They don't weigh much. They have a lot of downforce, as Dorsey said. I mean, they just really do stick like, well, you know what.
Ooh, look,
There's the battle for 4th. That is, again, Kevin Furline in that old RT4. And, oh, that was very close. Now back to Furline, and he is hanging on over number 3, Jason Greggs. And here's that car I was telling you about a little bit earlier. Look at the, it almost looks like a super modified. And what happened again, we'll get back to, there he is, that first car in that line. He's got a very unique rear engine cover on that car. Well, let's go back to this battle as Furline under huge attack now from number 3, Jason Greggs, the battle for 4th. And behind them, coming on, is also number 5, who started in the 8th spot. That's Brian Westerland. So I don't think loser applies. That guy had a great opening couple laps. And we saw earlier in our open that Kevin Furline, that old RT4, he said all he can do is put his right foot down and just hustle it around, do what he can. And he does amazing things with that car.
Holding off Jason Greggs in the 3 car.
And that 3 car is a near state-of-the-art Ralt current stuff. And again, that ancient Ralt doing the job. And right there now, up to 5th is Westerland, who we visited with earlier, having a great run. Boy, you have a good finish. It makes that 48-hour drive back a lot more palatable.
Yeah, that's still going to be a long... Oh, look, here we go. 97 Furline goes to the inside, down into the brake zone. He's going to get right down to the inside here. Not as good a braking as...
The Jason Gregg's car pulls around in there to go into turn 6. Close together as they come up over into madness here.
There's that next battle. There's number 26, David Vandenberg, I was telling you about. And he's got that sprint car sort of roll cage in the car, and then that rear deck caught fire during qualifying, and they didn't have another one, so he's running with a rather unique look to it. Meanwhile, there is the battle, and 89, problem for that machine. Dennis Sidiri out of Uniontown, Ohio, has pulled off, and he's running the Lone Griffith, a unique chassis in this category. There is Furline, and here comes number 5, Brian Westerlund. That young Canadian really starting to put the pressure on as they come onto that front straight.
He, of course, in a Swift, a DB4 Swift, right under Furline's tail as they go into turn 1, the fastest corner here. These cars. Furline spin. Oh, wow. Boy, he was lucky there. Clipped the wing on that curb, whipped the wing off, and slid back through the field and never hit anybody else.
That's the amazing thing. No contact. He's going to continue, but he's lost. The wing is still there. It's
nose is gone, too.
It's gone, yeah.
Look here, watch this. You want to talk about close. It's not just the spin that I'm worried about. Watch the car behind him. When he goes, he rotates right here. He's loose on the entry. Got opposite lock in there. Locks the brakes. Good thing here, because watch how close he comes to hitting this car.
Wow.
Oh, look at how close that was.
There. Whoa.
Now watch here. It looked like he got into that corner a little wide. There goes the nose cone, and Westerlund, wow, it's a savvy piece of driving. He, right on the edge of the track, snuck through.
Our young Canadian friend did a whale of a save.
He did a whale of a save.
Look how wide Furline is, though, coming in here. It looked like he turned in late, missed his turn in, maybe. Oh!
I think he just lost it there.
That would have been catastrophic if he hit him right then, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and now what obviously Furline is at a disadvantage in terms of handling anyway. He did continue. Without that nose piece on, there's an awful lot of exposed opening and stuff. That car is going to be very slow down the straights, and it's lacking in downforce to start with.
Yeah, you know, I was going to say he drives the wheels off this car, but in fact he's driven the nose off this car.
Well, right now, his dad is standing by with Bobby Gerald. Bobby?
Well, Alan right now is waiting, I think, to see if Kevin's going to stay out on the racetrack or try to duck into the pits. We understand that the front nose is missing on the car right now. Do you guys have any spares in the pits?
If it's gone, we don't have another one.
So he'll just have to make do, huh?
We'll have to make do. Here he comes now.
You got a good look at it that time by. Do you think you'll be able to race with that?
He'll race with that.
He'll race with it. He's already got that old chassis, and now he's at even a little further disadvantage, guys.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, he's got that Ralt. He can race with it. That's the battle for 12:47 is Kenny Suede, and he is hanging on, driving one of those Swifts. And behind him, coming on pretty strong, is the number 15 entry right now, and that's Gary Turnbull. And those two having a very spirited duel as well.
That's another one of the older RT4s, like Furline had, so obviously at a slight disadvantage to the RT41s of BJ Zacharias.
Yeah, that second car was actually 14 Doug Rocco having a good run. There's your top 5. We'll be back here for more Formula Atlantic action in a minute. SCCA Runoffs, 35th edition of this great national championship, the Olympics of motorsports. And the guy going after the last gold medal and looking strong right now is the gentleman who won the gold medal in Formula Continental last year, BJ Zacharias. And he is absolutely hooked up in that Uwe Olsen Prep Formula Atlantic car, that one of the Ralts with the Toyota power plant in it. And he is awfully strong. But there is some great racing to be found. And right now, coming onto that front straight, that is the battle between number 3, Jason Greggs, and Brian Westerlund. And they are having a good show. We've also got a good, strong battle going in 5th. Number 19, Bernie Sunier, in the Dynaquip Control Swift, is struggling right now. And he's under pressure from number 5, that's Westerlund, actually. And boy, good battle raging right now.
Bernie Sunier, a guy that I spent many, many years driving against in the Midwest Division in this very same class. A lot of experience with Bernie in these open wheel cars.
Second right now, by the way, is number 12, Mark Rodriguez, in that Mazda-powered entry, and our camera car, LeCaine, is 3rd. But this is a good scrap we're watching here. Coming up with some lap traffic, and no problem there, as he just pops out, does Jason Greggs, makes the move. And there is number 5, Brian Westerlund, that young Canadian hot shoe. And he caught that traffic at a bad time, because he's going to have to go way out and around him.
Yeah, very bad. Lost a lot of momentum there going through those two important corners time-wise. And, of course, you can't do much overtaking through there, but they're very important to get a good lap time. He had to go wide around that guy and lost quite a bit of time there.
In terms, oh, look at, here comes Lacane coming out of the final turn, the carousel, and on the front straight. Now watch the sun when they get to turn 1. This is unbelievable.
It's okay. Here, under the bridge, go, then bam. Now, the problem with that is you can't see that curve. You touch that curve at this speed, and you've got a very bad thing happening.
Then we'll see it again right here. And then, really bad again as they come into this corner here. There's that curve on the inside. Big gravel trap on the outside. As Paul Lacane runs in a solid third.
All right, we're going to go back, take a look at the battle for 7th. That is number 26, David Vandenberg. These are the 2 Ralt RT4s, 2 oldest chassis there. There's Vandenberg's, where he's done that engineering by himself, got that trick roll cage in there, and he's running Sands engine cover. And then here comes 9. That's Dan Carmichael, and again, 79 years old. And running a competitive top 10 battle here in Formula Atlantic. This guy is just truly amazing.
It's unbelievable.
I think it's 79 years young.
He's 20 years older than me. He's 20 years older than me.
David's enjoying this one a lot, folks.
I can hardly walk from the booth to the restaurant. There he is driving around the Formula Atlantic.
Oh, he is hustling it, too. By the way, that second car in your picture right there is 41, John Murphy. And he's the guy that right now is racing a 26, David Vandenberg. And they've been at each other pretty much for the whole race. They found each other early on the track. And I'll tell you, Vandenberg won that car without that engine cover. Whoa.
Getting the wheel up on that curb. These are big square tires. You get them up on those curbs. They're not very keen on that.
But Vandenberg, that car has to be aerodynamically awfully weak right now.
Look at the big muffler that he runs. I take it that's a Mazda motor in there. That's probably why he had to fire. Mazda's put out tremendous heat. You see the huge size of that muffler, and that thing is just glowing red hot. And that's probably what caused him to lose that engine cover earlier this week.
Yeah, it was a definite problem for him. By the way, the margin at the front, almost 8 seconds right now. There's a good look at 41 Murphy out of Bolton, Connecticut. 6th in the Northeastern Division in the Taylor Rental. Hoosier Tires Ralt, and he is having a strong run. And let's go back now to Dan Carmichael. There he is. Now he's running one of the Ralt RT40s, and they haven't done that last update kit that raised the nose that some of the other guys are running. That's the drop nose Ralt. Still, though, a very effective car, and doing a nice job here. Now he won in, of course, in 1995. He won the championship, the national championship, in a remarkable run when he was, I think, 76 years old. So national champion at 76. That's a remarkable story. And the fact he's still going after Dorsey and running top 10 is amazing.
He's winding these two guys in. He's winding Vandenberg and Murphy in. He was quite a few seconds behind them a couple of laps back. Now he's right with them.
Well, and we have to really, I think, go back to the qualifying. And there was rain, and even on the days when it wasn't raining, it was incredibly cool here for a couple of days during the long week of practice. And he may just not have been able to get the job done in qualifying, but he is charging right now, and he's going to come through and start picking these guys off. I think he's got a little experience with that. In World War II, he was a combat fighter ace, which means he got a number of kills in that war over there. So the guy obviously just likes to get out there and mix it up.
Well, he shouldn't bother. I mean, if it did, he wouldn't mind punting him.
No.
Oh, we hear from Dorsey again.
Dorsey Schrader punt school.
You know, when I ran this class, all of the cars had the same motor. Now, this is something new in Formula Atlantic in the last year or two, is that there's different things. Of course, Dan Carmichael right there has a Toyota motor, and they run a 1600cc fuel-injected motor or carbureted motor. Some of the old ones, when I drove it, it was a Ford Cosworth 1600cc. Now we've got Mazda motors in there. Look at Carmichael taking a position.
Going down the inside of Murphy there into... He was thinking about taking Vandenberg as well.
Yeah, that was sort of...
Ooh, slower traffic in front.
That was sort of a young man, you best respect your elders, or I will thrash you. Boy, he is closing on Vandenberg big time as well. And I don't think Vandenberg's long for the attack here. I think Carmichael's going to work by him. He is just flying.
We asked him, of course, if he could, if he'd carry the in-car camera for us. And he said, well, the only trouble with that was the radio frequency might upset his pacemaker.
Carmichael really closing up now on Vandenberg, working through the carousel, and look at him starting to apply the pressure. This is the battle right here for 7th at this point. And I think Carmichael might even get him as soon as turn 1. There he goes, makes the move.
Yeah, no question.
Down to the inside. Whoa, Vandenberg fighting him. Oh!
Across the curb, ran him up on the curb.
Well, he lost momentum there, so he needs to be careful now that Murphy doesn't get by him again before they get to chicane. So the old pacemaker going overtime right now as he went over that curb.
That was probably due to the sunlight. He both went in there and they got up from underneath the bridge, and they probably lost where that curve was. You just can't see. It's blind. Take a look at it again. Pops to the inside. No problem here. He's already alongside before. Now they're in a dark spot. They come out. You can't see that curve, remember. And watch Carmichael. He's going to hit that, and the car's going to loosen up right here.
Boy, it moved that car quite a bit, didn't it?
Vandenberg didn't see him, and
well, just that. Well, look at Vandenberg fight back around the outside, but Carmichael, he
now
can keep
Carmichael.
Nope.
He was on the
up there.
He would have been on the inside for this turn here, turn 7, 8.
And all the while, David, as you pointed out, 41 Murphy loving this because it's brought him right back into the battle.
Yeah.
Now heading down, they got through here, over the ride. Whoa, wiggle there from Vandenberg. And he's feeling the heat from Carmichael. That's obvious.
Well, Vandenberg, you know, he built that roll cage himself. I hope he doesn't have to see if it works. But as they get very much closer, something's going to happen.
And they are racing very close.
Dorsey looking on the bright side as always.
Mr. Positive here.
I'm positive that I'm sure about that.
I hope you're right. He can have another go into turn 1. Boy, he doesn't give up, does he?
See Sparks
got him this time.
Oh, yeah. Yes, he did. Very good job.
Nice pass there by Dan Carmichael.
Well, practice makes perfect. He tested the waters once, figured out what he needed to do. But I think the key was he got out of the carousel just a little bit better, got a better run.
Yeah.
And so he now has taken over sole possession of 7th position with Vandenberg and then Murphy in 8th and 9th. That's the group we're watching. And look at Carmichael drawing it away. We're going to step back. We've got 12 laps done here in Formula Atlantic competition. As we are just about to conclude the 1998 SCCA Runoffs, I'm Greg Creamer. We've got Dorsey Schrader and David Hobbs with us here in the booth. And down in the pits, Bobby Gerald and John Bizignano have been doing yeoman duty with a great crew down there. And there is your leader, BJ Zacharias. And right now the margin is 14 seconds that he has opened up over the field. Let's take a look at that Dodge race reset now. The current leader, there's BJ. 14 laps. He's been the only leader. No changes. We have 2 cars out of the action at this time. And this race so far has been pretty much owned by BJ Zacharias. But we were talking earlier with Paul LeCain, and he made the comment that one of the differences, not just the Cosworth to the Toyota engine, but carbureted and fuel injected. And he said the carbureted cars even maybe have a little bit more at the end of the straight, but they're a lot slower getting onto that straight, Dorsey.
Well, the fuel injection pulls you off the corner a lot more. You'll get a little engine barble sometimes from the big carburetors, which are Weber side drafts on these. Yet on the top end, once those carburetors get going on top end, they might make more horsepower on top, but they're not as drivable.
Yep, let's check in with John Bizignano, Biz.
Well, we're down in BJ Zacharias' pit. He does not have a radio, so he's not in constant communication like some of the teams here. But the team was absolutely 100% ready to go racing. The qualification, they were able to adjust both for the wet and the dry conditions. They went back to their dry setups, and obviously they hit them spot on. Of course, BJ, you know, he's an alumni of Team Green, which Derek Daly is involved in, and he won the June Sprints this year. Now, for this type of SCCA racing, to come away with a win at the National Championships and to win the June Sprints, I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that, guys.
Well, those are the 2 big showcase events. It's that simple. Oh, good action here. 90 LeCain taking a run. And no, not going to happen. And number 3, he is hanging on right there. Jason Greggs, he has got a great race going. That is 3rd place for Jason Greggs.
Well, he wasn't having any of that, was he? Got down there in the brake zone from the outside and just shut the door right on him.
Keep an eye on LeCain's car. It looked like coming through that corner, well, the one before it, he may have picked up a bit of a push. That car just does not seem to want to turn. And, of course, he's driving a Swift, and there was a big step when that Ralt chassis came out that Greggs is driving, not just in terms of the downforce that it made over the Swift, but the chassis rigidity. It's a much stiffer chassis, which makes it a lot more adjustable, doesn't it?
Well, like I said, these cars...
Oh, look at the understeer he's got.
Big understeer. You saw our front wheels turn far more.
Boy, yeah, he's got some push there.
These cars over 1 year can go from being a winner to a nothing. I mean, so they come up with some kind of new trick deal for next year. All of a sudden, the car you own that you have $200,000 of your money invested in becomes worth $8,000 all at once because it's not competitive. It happened to me, and that's why the money things ain't.
And LeCain, he's feeling that right now because that car is just not quite working. And obviously, Jason
Boyd's got more understeer there going through that apex. And, of course, that just kills you on that keyhole there. If you've got too much push there, you go wide, you got to lift off, and then, of course, you lose all that momentum and thrust down the main straight.
And at the same time, you're really tearing up your front tires, doesn't it? Which makes that kind of a vicious circle. Tearing them up. There is number 12, Mark Rodriguez, in that Mazda-powered Ralt. And again, you can see the different look to the air box and the air scoop on there. And out the back, that huge muffler that the Mazdas are required to run in club racing. Let's go down to Bob Gerald, who's with Mark Scrucci.
That's right. Tony Woodford is down here. He's on headset with Mark Rodriguez right now. And right now, are you concerned about the gentleman who's in third closing up on you?
Yes, we are concerned about the gentleman in third who's closing up on us. He's gaining about maybe a half a second a lap, and we're losing about a second a lap right now. So
what seems to be the problem?
It looks like we just haven't got the handling on the car for this type of heat in the day. So other than that, everything else is good.
The Mazda running strong?
The Mazda's running real strong.
They're concentrating right now on lap times. I think worried a little bit more about holding on to second than talking with us, Greg.
Yeah, I think Mark was chatting with him. He's trying to pick up on what he's saying. And again, that points out what was going on earlier in the week when we had the rain on Wednesday and Thursday. But even on Tuesday, I mean, it was very cool here for a few days. And some of the guys apparently have just missed a little bit in the setup. And today, noticeably warmer than it was even Friday and Saturday. So everybody's chasing stuff.
Well, I just saw right there, Jason Greg's taking a tear off. That means he's going right in the sun, and he's getting blinded because he's got a little oil on the windshield. He's got to make up over a half a second to catch this guy in 2 laps.
Well, and he's closing it up. I mean, the margin has noticeably dropped. There's Rodriguez. That's Greg's right there. There's our Formula Atlantic field summary right now, the top 15. And it's Zacharias, Rodriguez, Greg's, LeCain, and Sunnier has moved up now into 5th. And look at Dan Carmichael, top 6. The guy is absolutely flying. Superb effort for Dan. And we're going to watch this battle as it unfolds here. There's Jason Greggs in that red Ralt. And you can see there, he's got that modified kit on that nose. And as does number 12, Rodriguez, using that Formula 1 style suspended front wing. And that just gives him more plane for that air to hit, and supposedly gives him better grip.
Didn't have as much grip as he wanted right there. We look at BJ Zacharias. Of course, he is our leader. He's checked out. He's on the final lap. No way that anybody's going to catch him if he doesn't make a mistake.
No way they would catch him, and Greggs would be very lucky to catch Rodriguez on this last lap too. He's only a couple of seconds behind, but to catch him up and pass him in this one lap will be very difficult.
By the way,
one car just being lapped. That's Gary Machico.
That's Gary. That's a Ralt RT5, which is basically a Super V. If you own a Super V, you can run it in Formula Atlantic. But as you can see, although the Super Vs make a lot of downforce, they don't have the tire contact patch of the true Atlantic car. And right now, BJ is putting on a clinic in this class. And when you got the team he's got and the skills he's got, it really should be that way.
Well, again, that's a $200,000 race car against some $15,000 race cars. Some of them worth less than that.
And that's the difference. Technology comes at a cost. And BJ's, you need a guy that can put it to good use. And boy, BJ has proven with a championship last year in Continental. And now one turn and he's going to win his 2nd straight championship. There it is. And he is the 1998 Formula Atlantic Championship, a gold medal in 2 consecutive years in 2 different classes, both of them extremely competitive. That speaks volumes about his ability. Here we go. Dan Carmichael currently running 6th spot, and he has put in a stellar drive. Remember, he got caught out a little bit, qualified down in 9th, and dropped further back than that on the start, and he has been nothing short of brilliant here.
Absolutely incredible. Going through the turn 9, 10, 11 complex now. This is turn 11. This is that dropping away corner, very difficult little corner. And that right in front of him is Sunier. He's just that far behind him. Just another couple of laps, and I think Carmichael would have picked up yet another spot.
There's Carmichael's crew, and they have got to be incredibly proud of what he's achieving here.
I hope he hasn't got his dad in the pit.
He'll sleep well tonight, won't he?
Here comes the ace out of World War II, and he picks up a tremendous drive here. 6th place for the 79-year-old, soon-to-be 80, Dan Carmichael, in a superb drive, and he was racy throughout. I mean, he laid some brilliant passes on some of the competitors there. Dan Carmichael, all he does is continue to amaze and impress. The guy is indeed something special. And most of the cars now in their cool-down laps. Here he comes. Again, Rodriguez was 2nd, and 3, Jason Gregg, good run to 3rd. Then it was 90 LeCain, then number 19 held on to a top 5 spot, Bernie Sunnier. But as you pointed out, a couple more laps, Carmichael may have been top 5.
He was right behind him.
There's B.J. Zacharias for the second year running a national champion. Just a little different class, a little faster class, and a class that is known for being able to propel people into the pro ranks. I'm sure B.J. would like that to happen.
B.J. Zacharias, of course, is the classic of this SCCA runoffs, which is just such an incredible worldwide affair, certainly a big nationwide affair here, where a guy like B.J. Zacharias, who really wants to go somewhere in professional racing, and someone like Dan Carmichael, who does it for fun.
And there's the crew, a very happy crew for BJ. He is a Team Green Academy person. He's climbing that ladder. We'll visit with him in just a little bit. We'll be back. Included 23 races. We are crowning 24 national champions, and the last one is done. However, there's that one very special lap of honor to be completed, and there's the guy who is doing it. And boy, what a drive he put in. B.J. Zacharias, he wins the Formula Atlantic National Championship. He's working around the track, and as you can see, they're bringing in some of the vehicles that had problems. There's BJ at the top once again. Mark Rodriguez, great ride in that Mazda-powered Ralt. Jason Gregg, superb effort in his Ralt. Paul Lecane, were it not for that push, may have been in the top three easily. Bernie Sunnier just hanging on over the very rapid Dan Carmichael, 79-year-old. Again, what a remarkable story. Brian Westerland, all the way from British Columbia, Canada, ends up 7th. Murphy Vandenberg in that unique Ralt RT4, and Kevin Furline, who would have been well up, one would suspect, except for that spin and the damage to the nose. Look at BJ knows an awful lot of the volunteers and the like around here. He's been a great friend to these people. And look at that. He stopped by to receive some good congratulations from somebody and
installs it.
Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, he had it covered here. They understand, these drivers truly do understand what the club aspect of SCCA is all about and how important the workers are. And you have a friend out there, they want to share in it. Here's the rest of the field. We'll go back to it. Machiko, Suede, Rocco, Turnbull, and Hellman round out the top 15. And then Sideri and Villamy, you remember both of them had problems early. So nonetheless, hey, they got to run in a national championship, and that's not all bad. Let's check in down at pit lane with Bob Gerald.
And I'm standing by with Jason Greggs, who just finished in the 3rd position. An excellent run. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Your first trip here to the Mid-Ohio Runoffs, and I imagine this was going to be an experience you're not going to forget for a long.
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, I had college to deal with, and I was here like on and off every day, so did the best I could.
Where are you going to school?
Bowling Green State University.
Okay, so that's not too far away. We've got a few people on our crew here helping us out. Tell us about your race.
The start was kind of bad. North 12 was kind of squirrely. It was just, everybody's in a braking zone there. Then after that, just got my calm nerves and just went from there.
Well, you rolled the thing in here in one piece. The crew will be happy about that, and you're going to be able to go back to school. What are you studying?
Accounting.
All right. Accounting? He's got the glasses on. Looks like an accountant, but puts the hammer down, John.
Yeah, he certainly does put the hammer down, but one man who put the hammer down on him is Mark Rodriguez. Mark, what a great drive. I mean, you have this Mazda-powered car. You changed from a Swift chassis to a Ralt chassis in the middle of the season. I mean, you guys have had some teething problems, but it's all worth it now.
No, we're real excited. First, I'd like to say hi to everybody at Hoops, but no, we got this car about 2 weeks ago. And if it wasn't for all the crew, Mike Burris, Dave Patrick, and especially Tony Woodford, I can't tell you how many 24-hour days that we put in to try to get this car together. And again, with the other sponsors, Goodyear helped us out a lot, and Mazda, Steve Sanders, we were able to have a really good car. And you know, SCCA is kind of a family-oriented event, and thanks to my grandfather, he was able to help me out, be able to pick up this car, which is not a short coming of change. It's a fair amount of money.
Why the Mazda motor?
Actually, well, Tony Woodford started this project last year in a Swift, which is what I got introduced and asked to drive for. That started off about a year ago with another driver. And starting in this season, we decided if we were going to go and try to win the runoffs, we were going to start from ground zero instead of coming in at the last minute. And we started with the Swift, and we were beating a fair amount of the guys on the West Coast. But the first time I test drove an RT41 to break in a car for a friend of mine for the Long Beach Grand Prix, I was telling Tony Woodford, our crew chief, that if we're planning on winning the runoffs, we're going to have to come with an RT41. And that's when we took the project from Mazda and the Swift, and we abandoned the Swift to go to the RT41. And hopefully that was going to be a winning combination that was going to beat the favorite, B.J. Zachariah, which I'd like to take my hat off and actually take my hat off and swap hats and just say B.J. did a hell of a ride. I knew if I wasn't going to be able to get a hold of him in turn one, I wasn't going to be able to compete for him.
Well, I'll tell you, he didn't get a hold of him here, but he might grab him next year. These guys are going to do a development program all winter long.
Oh, no doubt. And that car has shown a tremendous amount of potential. And look at B.J. Zacharias, the guy that they were chasing. He is coming down. He is. We're going to be visiting with him in a minute. And what a great achievement he had. But again, second and third, you're on the podium at the national championships. Sports car course, and what a great 3 days of racing we have had. And it's been under absolutely wonderful conditions. It's beautiful, and our winner is in pit lane, Bobby Gerald.
B.J. Zacharias, with a big smile on his face, has gotten out of his car now. Congratulations on winning this national championship.
Thank you very much. It's a big part from Olson Engineering, and also Jegerman Motorsports. He couldn't be here this weekend, but he's helped us all out all season, and I don't think I'd be able to drive this thing if it wasn't for Bruce Foster at Hoosier this year. He's really helped us out.
You really put a hurting on this field. You started out right from the get-go and just pulled away from him.
I think a lot of people actually could with this. I mean, Olson Engineering's done an excellent job in preparing it. It's an awesome car, and we did a little preparation for it, and we had some good testing up here, and today was just our day.
We've seen you in the past in the Spec Racer Ford. We've seen you in the Formula Continental. Talk about the differences between driving those cars and now getting into something like this, which is just so lightning quick, and I'm sure corners much better.
This has a lot more of the yeehaw factor, I would say. Definitely a corner's a lot better, and the brakes are absolutely just tremendous.
I like that, the yeehaw factor. You come up with that one yourself?
I just thought of that right now, but it's definitely up there on that scale.
I like that a lot. That'll be something that us announcers may have to try to slide into our vocab. Congratulations, BJ.
Thank you very much.
Into our vocab. Yeehaw.
He also has to thank the Derek Daly Driving Academy for putting him on the road to success. Derek Daly, of course, one of our fellow commentators here on Speed Vision.
Let's check in with John Bizignano.
Well, BJ may have won the race, but the man of this meeting for sure is Dan Carmichael. Dan, congratulations. Listen, when I grow up, I want to be just like you, mate.
Well, you got a long time to go then.
Tell us about this event. I mean, what do you do to prepare this beautiful car and yourself to run this fast at your age? I must ask that.
This beautiful car is maintained and prepared by Terry Muir and Floyd Cleaves from Port Huron, Michigan, and I feel the same way that most of the people you interview feel. They are the best, none better, and they've just done a wonderful job. They are as fine a mechanic, I think, and also as fine people as you could find anywhere.
And what about you preparing for the race, sir?
Me? I don't do anything. I just look forward to going out there and having fun.
Aren't you a little bit inhibited by the younger drivers out there? All these young lions trying to press their way to the front, and they're all climbing all over you. They want to get ahead of you, but you're just scrapping with them tooth and nail.
No, if they can get by me, that's fine. I don't believe in blocking people or anything like that, but I go out and I do my best, and if they're better and get in front of me, why, that's okay. I'll try and get by them some other time.
Now, you're going into your 80th year soon, so I have to ask you, what's up for the 1999 season?
2 more weeks. Well, first I got to celebrate my birthday in 2 weeks. And then next year, as far as I know, it'll probably be the same car and the same thing again, I hope.
Well, we look forward to having you back next year and the year after that. 2000, I want to see you right here again in the top 6. Congratulations, sir.
Congratulations indeed. That's an absolutely remarkable achievement, and he finished in 6th, and it was a very racy 6th as he had to come up through the pack. You bet. Here we go. B.J. Zacharias, though, at the front. Coming up, the thumbs up from the starter as well, the finisher, as well as that checkered flag. And B.J., what a ride he put on. I like how Bobby put that. He put a hurting on the field. And it is obvious he had probably the best package here in terms of the team and the car, crewed by that gentleman there with the headset on, Uwe Olsen and the gang. But the thing is, you may have a good package, but you need a driver who can get the most out of it. And B.J. is proving himself to be one of the brightest young future stars on the horizon here, and he's enjoying that lap of honor. We'll be back. Presentation of the SCCA Runoffs is being brought to you by the new Dodge. It's about change.
24 national champions have been crowned here at Mid-Ohio, and we're standing alongside the man who just finished 4th to B.J. Zacharias, the winner in Formula Atlantic. This is Paul Lacane, a 4th-place finisher, and Paul, congratulations on your day here today. You weren't here last year after finishing 2nd in 1996, but a pretty good day overall today.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. We had set it up for, it had been cold all week. We set it up to grip in the rear a little bit. About halfway through the race, my front tires just went away because it was pushing so hard. And I tried to keep Jason behind me as long as I could, but he made a clean pass, and and hats off to all three guys that finished ahead of me. They all drove clean, and they were just a little bit faster than I was today. So we'll get them next time we see them, though.
You told me you have a lot of people at home watching you today.
Yeah, I got my mom. Hi, Mom. Renee, and a couple people at work. John Wall, father of Brian Wall, runs in the Busch North Series. Good luck to you guys at Lime Rock next week, and we'll all be rooting for you. And everybody back home in the Boston, New Hampshire area.
And he didn't say it on the air, but even his dog was watching, John Pisignano.
Well, that's one fan that you'll always have for sure. Brian Redmond down here at the Runoffs. Brian, it's always good to see you. You're a former Formula One driver with Cooper McLaren, BRM, and so forth. You were even around with David Hobbs in the GT40s in 1968. But why are you here? Yes, unbelievably so. But why are you here this weekend, sir?
There's an organization called the Road Racing Drivers Club. I'm the president. It was founded in 1950 by a group of amateur drivers who were concerned at the lack of track safety and the lack of insurance. The club today has 180 members. It's thriving, and we present 2 awards a year, one of which tonight, the Mark Donoghue Award, will go to the most promising driver who the RRDC members here elect.
Can you tell us who that is at this time, or is it still a secret?
No, in about 30 minutes we have a meeting and we go through all the list of drivers. We argue forever, and when dinner starts we have to make a decision.
Now, we're a little short on time, but give us one horrible David Hobbs story, would you please?
There are so many that I can't think of all of them. But here, in 1975, we'd finished the Formula 5000 race, and I went out to dinner with my crew. And I went into this restaurant, and there was David with his crew, with his back to me, and there happened to be a piece of cheesecake on the table next to him, and he couldn't see me at all. And I walked up, picked up the cheesecake, and went boom, like this. Well, he got me back 2 months later at Elkhart Lake. I'm sitting eating dinner with my crew after the race, and bang, I got it full in the face. All I could do was stand up and say, cheesecake.
Well, Mr. Cheesecake, David Hobbs, what do you have to say about that?
Silly old coot.
He just called you a silly old coot, Brian.
Silly old what?
Silly old British coot, is what he said, actually.
Yes, I thought it was something else.
Okay, break. Go to break, guys.
Yeah, we better rush out of this one, absolutely. And I'm sorry, that was pretty much the pot calling the kettle black, I think.
Absolutely, yeah.
No question. Oh, man, what a great guy Brian Redmond is, and, of course, some great races in the past. With
one of our
David.
Greatest wins, Brian Redmond and I won the Lumberman's trophy here back in 1981.
You guys had a great run. Another great run was F Production early on. In 77, Joe Huffaker was on the pole, and things got a little fraught early. You'll notice that flapping bumper in the back of Craig Cheeman. Behind him is Huffaker. Cheeman